Nearby is Holdsworth House, hotel and restaurant. It has a beautiful frontage of multiple mullioned windows, enhanced by a carefully restored sunken garden. I'm in a courtyard at Holdsworth House and I'm talking to Kim Pearson and Gail Moss, daughters of the late Freddie and Rita Pearson, who formed an exclusive dining club and gambling club here. When did your parents first become involved in Holdsworth House?
They bought it in 1963 and as a private house from Tommy Hoyle and his family, and they turned it into, they had this idea of creating in Halifax an exclusive country club. They thought that this was something that was really lacking in the town. It was a wealthy town in those days and people needed somewhere special to go. So they had a large membership, over 1,000 members. They gave them a wonderful restaurant and a bar, and also they introduced a mini casino, so you could come here and play roulette and chemin de fer in black tie on Saturday night, and it was something very special for the people of Halifax.
Las Vegas in Halifax?
Yes, but without the neon lighting. It was very upmarket.
They could have a right good night out.
They did.
Yeah.
They know how to do that in Yorkshire.
They do, yes. Spent the brass wisely, yes.
Sometimes.
So, what was it before then?
Well, it was built in 1633. It was built obviously as a house and went through various transitional periods. And then it came into the ownership of textile owners' family in 1930, who did quite a lot of restoration and changed it. And then my parents bought it from them in the 1960s.
I mean, there don't seem to have been too many owners of the house.
No, within the...
Well, from the 1630s, it looks as if there was about 7 people who owned it. 7.
Holdsworth.
Abraham Brigg had it, who had an ale house in the town. He was the original owner. Then the Wadsworths had it for nearly 200 years within their family.
Quite unusual, isn't it? Yes.
And we've been here nearly 50 years, so we are getting there around, you know.
Stayers.
We're stayers. Maybe whether we'll make the 2 centuries.
You've had quite a few celebrities here over time.
Absolutely. In the early days, there was Shirley Bassey, Cliff Richards.
We had the Maharaja of Baroda. We had Rudolf Nureyev.
Yes, and then more recently, R.E.M., who were a huge band when they came to play in Huddersfield. But the most famous of all was the Beatles.
The Beatles?
The Beatles. And the Beatles stayed here in 1964 on John Lennon's 25th birthday. Nobody knew they were staying here. And my mother and father were amazing in that they kept it quiet from us completely. Everybody at my school fell out with me because they thought I must have known.
You weren't allowed to scream at the bedroom door then?
No.
Well, you see, they arrived very late from Bradford. The police did a detour. Everyone thought they were staying at the Raddles, but they actually came here. So there was no screaming. My mother was terrified that the gardens would be trampled and we'd have thousands of screaming girls, but nobody knew they were here. And I was a young teenager and Kim would have been in bed, but I paced the corridor waiting to see if I could see them, and I didn't. No appearance. And then the next morning, my mother did something that if I did to my children now, by 11 they still hadn't got up, and she knocked on the door of the room where they were sleeping, Paul and George, knocked on the door. They said yes. She said, "Are you decent?" And they said yes, yes. She was quite frightening. And they opened the door and she said, "Well, my daughter's been waiting all morning to see you," and pushed me in. And I was speechless, but they were absolutely charming.
Can I tell my story?
And then Kim has another lovely story.
I was so shy, and so I hid in the ladies' powder room under the table, the curtain, and because I thought, oh, you know, they would come in and find me. And then suddenly this hand came through and it had like 3 rings on, and he said, "Kim, it's Ringo." come out. And I thought, and I did, and I came out. I was only 8 years old, but
Wonderful.
yeah.
And Kim has the photograph.
I've got the photo.
Sitting on their knee.
Paul
My father
McCartney's
didn't have
knee.
a flash
No.
camera. So I had the photograph, but mine didn't come out. But Kim's, and it's a very moody shot.
It is, yeah. You can
them
see
all.
Paul McCartney, can't you?
Oh,
Well, the Cavalier Club is long since gone. It's no longer a gambling and dining casino. What is Holdsworth House now?
Well, today we are a 40-bedroomed hotel with excellent ratings in all the guides. We have a terrific restaurant, and we are still absolutely in family ownership. Kim and I own the hotel together.
Joint ownership.
Yeah, yeah. And we've carried on my mother's thing about, you know, we do a lot of weddings, which are wonderful. And to us, each wedding is special. And we do probably 130 weddings a year.
It looks that number.
And you know, it's a perfectly spectacular setting for weddings. So, yeah, we love it. We love it.
The gardens, the front of the house, it's so perfect for any kind of occasion. It's a little oasis, and it's just a perfect setting.
Well, the guide describes Holdsworth House as being a little gem, and it's certainly well worth a visit.